Today, I'm gonna show you 3 overnight oats recipes that taste like you are eating cake for breakfast despite having a ton of protein. The first recipe is a cinnamon roll flavored one that is so thick you can turn the glass upside down without anything falling out. Place a bowl on a scale and add in 50 grams of oats. Now, you can use rolled oats, they will add a bit more crunch. However, I like to go with instant oats instead because they make the oats even thicker, but just use what you have in your pantry. Next is 150 grams of Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt exists in different fat versions. 0% or fat-free has the best macros, but obviously tastes quite boring. The 5% fat one has almost double the calories. However, it tastes a lot better because of the added sweetness from the fat. Now, the perfect balance of the two is the 2% fat version if you can find it. It still has good macros and also gives you that sweetness on top. There is also an alternative to fat-free Greek yogurt called skyr. It tastes very similar, has the same macros, and is often a lot cheaper than Greek yogurt, so that's also an option if you want. On top of that, I'm going to add 15 grams or half a scoop of vanilla protein powder. Now, there are two main types of protein: whey, which most people use when buying protein powder. However, there is another kind called casein. It's lesser known, but in my opinion, it's definitely better when used for food recipe, and here's why. Here I have 15 grams of whey protein powder that I will combine with 50 grams of water. And as you can see, while I'm mixing it, it stays quite liquid, and that's because whey cannot bind a lot of water, it just dissolves. Now look at what happens when I combine 15 grams of casein with 50 grams of water. As I'm mixing, this literally turns into a yogurt-like consistency, which makes everything a lot creamier, especially when you make baked goods like a protein cake, and for overnight oats it makes it insanely thick and creamy. So even though both protein powder work, I highly recommend giving casein a try. Next is a small pinch of salt just for flavor, then 1 gram of cinnamon and 10 grams of chia seeds. Chia seeds are a very good source of unsaturated fats and also contain quite a bit of protein and fiber. Finally, add 100 grams of skimmed milk. This has 1% fat, then mix for about a minute or so until combined. Transfer this now into a glass that you can store in the fridge, and because I want to give it a cinnamon roll theme, in a small bowl I'm going to combine 5 grams of vanilla extract with 30 grams of light or fat-free cream cheese. Both work equally well, and that's my topping or glaze if you will. Add some more sprinkles of cinnamon, and then it goes into the fridge until the next morning. And now look at this. It is so creamy and so thick, it tastes like dessert for breakfast. The macros for this are 465 calories, 51 grams of carbs, 9 grams of fat, and 42 grams of protein. The next one is a chocolate cookie flavored one. It starts once again with 50 grams of oats, 150 grams of Greek yogurt, 15 grams of casein vanilla protein powder, a pinch of salt, 10 grams of cocoa powder, and 100 grams of skimmed milk. On top of that, place a small bowl on a scale and add 7 grams of unsalted butter and 10 grams of dark chocolate. I used a 70% version. This goes now into the microwave for only about 30 seconds until everything is melted. Then you can mix and add it to the bowl of oats and give it a good stir. The butter and chocolate will make this so good. I highly recommend giving it a try. Transfer it into a glass, and as a topping, I'm going to add 10 grams of granola just to have some additional texture. However, this is not really needed. The macros for this one are 511 calories, 53 grams of carbs, 17 grams of fat, and 40 grams of protein. The next recipe I will call apple pie overnight oats. This one starts with an apple. I will only use half the apple for one serving, so about 50 grams. The other half can go back into the fridge. Then remove the core, slice it up, and then cut it into bite-sized pieces, and then add 7 grams of unsalted butter into a pot on medium heat and add in the apples. Cook them for about 3 to 4 minutes, stirring them occasionally. This turns the apples so delicious, you have to try this out. After that, and this is optional, you can add an additional 2 grams of sugar and keep stirring for 1 more minute. The sugar will caramelize on the outside of the apples, which makes them even more delicious, and 2 grams is only 8 extra calories. Also, since you're already at the stove, you can add the oats into the pot and toast them for about 2 more minutes. I highly recommend trying this. Toasting oats gives them a nuttier flavor, which I really like. After this, add everything into a bowl, This is also a great recipe to meal prep for multiple days, by the way. You are already using the pot, so you might as well make more servings. Now add 150 grams of Greek yogurt, 15 grams of vanilla casein protein powder, a pinch of salt, and for this recipe only 50 grams of skimmed milk because we are also adding 50 grams of applesauce. Finally, add half a gram of cinnamon and 10 grams of chia seeds as well, then give it a good stir, transfer everything into a glass and refrigerate overnight. The macros for this one are 532 calories, 62 grams of carbs, 15 grams of fat and 37 grams of protein. These types of recipes help me and over 10,000 people lose weight and keep it off. Why? Because I specifically make sure that they taste delicious, are filling and have great macros, and I created a cookbook with over 250 recipes like this one, from breakfast to lunch to dessert, pizza, burgers and cheesecake. You buy it once and you get all recipe updates for free. The link is in the description.